All right, guys, so we got a very interesting story coming out from Ubisoft. Now, this particular story from Fandom Pulse is really interesting to me because we kind of saw the writing on the wall. We kind of saw how industry was going to go in this direction, and they were going to try to make this a thing because they've done this with everything else, right? They've done this with reviews. They tried to silence reviews. They tried to make it some weird form of verification. They tried to do all kinds of gatekeeping on information that may look negative for a particular product. Entertainment industry is trying to do this every single day, and the Steam concurrent player count is just going to be the next thing that they target. Well, apparently, Ubisoft's insider has alleged that the company wants Steam to remove the concurrent player count to hide all of its failures.
That's a lot of damage. How about a little more?
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is an absolutely wild story, and it's something that is a form of censorship, which you know we're against on this channel. Ubisoft trying to do something like this is just another way that they want to try to trick people into buying their games, because the sad truth is that these companies just cannot convince people to buy these games based on merit anymore. They're pushing agendas, and they're giving people what they don't want every single day, so the only way they can convince people to buy the game is if they trick them into thinking that it's going to be a game for them, when in fact it's a game for nobody. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fandom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says, an Ubisoft insider has alleged that the company is not happy with Valve and Steam for revealing concurrent player counts for its various games, including Star Wars Outlaws. A Ubisoft insider informs Fandom Pulse that the company does not like the fact that gamers, the press, and investors can easily view the performance of their various games on Steam through concurrent player trackers. Now, I've been saying this for the longest time. When it comes to investors in AAA gaming, or just in gaming in general, but let's just be real, it's mostly AAA gaming. If you are going to be investing in AAA gaming, it is in your best interest to perhaps understand the climate of the game or the company that you are investing in. Understand what people are actually saying, what's actually going down at the ground level. Understand all of it that's going on. Don't just believe what they're telling you on investors' calls, because unfortunately, 99% of it is most likely going to be bullshit. We know that to be the case. We have seen some of the biggest spins in PR history in some of these investors' calls. So it's only a matter of time before people catch on to the fact that perhaps what they're being told is not exactly true. So you can see with SteamDB, and you could go and look at the numbers yourself and understand, wow, this is not doing nowhere near as good as they're trying to tell us it's doing. It's not doing nowhere near as good as they promised us it was going to do. Perhaps we should pull out of this studio until they get their shit together. They want to avoid this at any cost, which is why banning Steam numbers is going to be their next move. They're going to try their very best to ban those numbers. And the sad thing is that as much as I love Steam and as much as I love Valve, it is a company that absolutely works with some of these psychopaths. You know, Valve is a client of what do you call it? Sweet Baby Inc. So think about that for a second. Think about it. They have Sweet Baby Inc. as one of their clients, and it makes you wonder why that is. Then it says, the insider told us that Ubisoft and other companies want to pressure Steam to stop them from giving out info, and they want to keep it to themselves. He added they want to be able to present findings to investors so they can make it sound good. I mean, none of this should be very shocking. I feel like this is the evolution of their next step. On top of this insider shared that Ubisoft's most recent release, Star Wars Outlaws, has still not hit the 2 million units sold mark, despite being on the market for nearly 3 months already. It was reported at the end of September by Insider Gaming that the game had only sold just over 1 million copies in its first month. The outlet's Grant Taylor Hill stated, "We have secured a current sales figure from sources close to the game. At the time of writing, Star Wars Outlaws has just ticked over 1 million sales worldwide." And this is supposed to be a game that was supposed to sell millions upon millions of copies. This is a game that forced Ubisoft to lower their net bookings by a drastic margin, right? So this game is such a massive failure that they had to lower their net bookings, and then they had to go on an investor's call and admit that to people who were investing in the company who were sold a lie when they were doing calls about pre-orders, about Star Wars Outlaws, and how the community sentiment was positive. Remember when they were saying that? Remember they were trying to convince investors that the community sentiment was positive around this game? Well, doesn't quite seem like that's the case anymore, right? I really hope that all this nonsense this year, that all the W's that gamers have been getting, I really hope that investors take that information and start making better choices, because ultimately that's only going to make these companies have to do better, because if they can't keep lying to their investors, then they're going to have to start making things that gamers actually want, that people are actually going to have to want to buy, and then investors will end up being happy once that ends up being a thing. It says that investors had initially hoped, and this is the best part, that the game would sell at the very least, 5 million units in its first month. You guys got sold the biggest lie. 5 million units in the first month. Damn, you barely hit 1 million, bro. You guys are a little bit short, my guy. I think it's pretty easy to tell that. Barclays' Nick Dempsey shared during Ubisoft's Q1 fiscal year 2024 sales report in May, when I look at the guidance for Q2, and if I assume something similar for a back catalog in Q2 as Q1, kind of getting the 200 to 230 million, that sort of range, for the new release Star Wars Outlaws, when I look at the $70 price, and then assuming that what you might get from it, I'm getting to around 5 million units, something that is sort of that bracket. First of all, where could I be going wrong with that thinking? Secondly, are you just being pretty conservative in your guidance? Because I guess given the interest in the game, we might have thought it would be more than 5 million units. So, you know what's funny to me? So even that assessment of 5 million units during the call was considered low. Right? It was considered not right. It was they were trying to figure out, you could tell by the last statement, they were trying to figure out where are we wrong in our assessment, given that it should be more than 5 million units. And then imagine you thinking 5 million units is low, and you end up getting only 1 million units. Holy shit, talk about a clusterfuck. I mean, my God, that is insane. If I was that investor, I would have pulled out immediately. I would have ran the fuck out and be like, you know what, I'm good. I don't got to be part of this anymore. That's insane. You are way, way, way off. Ubisoft admitted in its first half 2024-25 earnings figures report that the game underperformed sales expectations, but they have not released any figures to the public. However, they did note that the company only brought in 352 million in net bookings rather than 500 million, which is what it was initially expecting. Furthermore, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot evaded a question regarding the game's sales curve during its most recent earnings call. He was asked by a BMO investor on Star Wars Outlaws, obviously off to a slower start than you guys wanted. Can you provide a little color into the sales curve there more recently? Have you guys started to see things pick up? Can you talk about any discounting you might be doing or strategies for discounting into the holiday period? That would be helpful. This game is cooked. This game is absolutely cooked. Like when you have all these investors asking questions now after the game came out and they thought 5 million was low and they only got 1 million, yeah, you're going to get a round of questions and you could try to dance around it all you want, but you're going to have to eventually confront it at some point in time. And you got to imagine just how uncomfortable that conversation is going to be between the executives over at Ubisoft and the investors that are giving them money. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.